Good day, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk Immigration with yours truly, Odette Montelibano, licensed immigration consultant based here in Toronto, Canada. And for this episode, we're going to have a Q&A on international students. But before I start with that, I would like to share with you some facts and figures from the Canadian Bureau for International Education. So according to CBIE, there are over 500,000 international students in Canada at all levels in 2020, which was the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. So as you can imagine, that is like 500,000 or over 500,000 international students here in Canada. And why do they choose Canada to be their study destination? I know that's the next question on your mind. So international students choose Canada because, of course, of its world-class quality education, and that is an undisputed fact. Second, international students choose Canada because it has a reputation of having a tolerant and non-discriminatory society. And last but not least, Canada has a reputation of being a safe country. So as an international student, you can bring your family members, like your spouse or common law partner, and your children to Canada. And of course, you would like your family members to live in a society where the culture is tolerant and non-discriminatory and safe. And also, another interesting fact is that 60% of international students who come to Canada would later on apply for their permanent residence. And 96% of international students do recommend Canada as a study destination to their family and friends. Okay, so let's get going with our Q&A. The first question comes from Lisa from the Philippines, and she is asking, how much do I need as an international student? Okay, so Lisa, to answer your question, I would break down your expenses as a student into tuition, your living expenses, and government fees, and your third-party fees. Now, for tuition, the tuition depends on the college and program. So each college would have different rates for its program, right? So there, I cannot give a set amount for the tuition fee because each college is different, right? For the living expenses, however, this is where your proof of funds come in. So the proof of funds, it would cover your living expenses, meaning your expenses for your housing, transportation, meals, right? So like your day-to-day expenses in living here in Canada. So Canada has a mandatory proof of funds that it wants you to show them. Okay? For a single applicant, let's say you're coming alone as a student, Canada wants to see that you have 10,000 Canadian dollars. Now, if you're coming alone, if you're coming with a family member, let's say your spouse or common law partner, you need to add 4,000 Canadian dollars to that proof of funds. If you have a child coming with you as well, then you need to add 3,000 Canadian dollars. For a family of 3, the proof of funds is 17,000 Canadian dollars. Okay, and then you need to set aside money for your medical exam and your police clearances and also your English test exam. Okay, now there are some colleges that exempt international students from the English exam, but I would discuss that later on. There's another question about that too. So for proof of funds, minimum for a single applicant, when I say single applicant, you're coming alone, no family members, you would need a minimum of 30,000 Canadian dollars to cover your tuition fee, proof of funds, and your third-party fees. So that's how much you would need. So how do you show that you have these funds? So it can be through the payment of your tuition fee. That's part of your proof of funds. When you pay your tuition fee, then that's part of your proof of funds. Your payment for your lease here in Canada, let's say you already have a lease, then you show Canada that this is my lease agreement and this is like my payment for that lease. You can show your personal savings account, or if you have an investment account, that can also be shown as proof of funds. And you can also secure or obtain an education loan, right? So there are banks that do provide education loans. And lastly, you can also get financial support from a relative, let's say your parents, your spouse, your uncles, right, grandparents, so they can also support your studies here in Canada. So Lisa, I do hope that answers your question on the proof of funds. Okay, so the next question is from Eric of Bacolod City. So Eric's question is, do I need IELTS? Okay, so Eric, to answer your question, let me first explain what IELTS is. IELTS is an English test being administered, okay, to show a person's proficiency in the English language, and it's a test on the 4 abilities in the language, which is speaking, listening, writing, and reading. Okay, so for students who want to study in Canada, right, they would have to show that they are proficient in the language, so that they could understand the curriculum. So okay, so going back to the question, yes, English proficiency is required, but aside from IELTS, there are also other accepted English language tests, right? So for IELTS, there are 2 kinds of tests. We have IELTS General and IELTS Academic. For colleges and universities, they accept IELTS Academic. What are the other English tests accepted by colleges and universities? So this would include the Canadian Academic English Language Test, or CAEL, the Cambridge Assessment Test, Duolingo, PTE, and TOEFL. So each each college and or university would have its own set of accepted English language tests. But I find that the popular one these days is the Duolingo test. I believe it is popular because it is only a 1 hour test and done online, and you get the results fast. Results come within 2 days, right? And additionally, it is also cheaper compared to the other tests. Okay, so Eric, I hope that answers your question. The next question, okay, so it's also related to the English proficiency exam. It's coming from Jassy from India. So Jassy says, my overall band score in IELTS academic is 5.5. Is there an option for me? Jassy, yes, there is an option for you. Colleges offer a course which is called the English for academic purpose. So this is a prerequisite course before your academic program. So there are programs wherein conditional acceptance is okay, meaning they would accept you in the main academic program when you complete the EAP course, or the English for academic purpose course. However, we should note that the EAP course would mean that additional money, like additional tuition fee for the course. And from what I saw in some colleges, the EAP program runs for 2 semesters, and that is like 8 months, or your 1 year. So 1 year in Canada for the EAP course, that's also it also means that's 1 year of studying only solely for that course, solely to be good or to be proficient in English. So I am highly recommending that if you have a low overall band score in your IELTS academic, that you can go and review and then take it again and go for a higher score, because that would be cheaper than doing a year here in Canada for an English course. Okay, so Jassy, I hope that helps answer your question. The next question comes from Vicky from the Philippines. She is asking, can I work as a student? The short answer is yes, you can work as a student. As a full-time student, you can work part-time or 20 hours a week during the school semester, and full-time or 30 hours a week during the school break. Okay, so conditions for working as a student is that you must be enrolled at a designated learning institution. Your program is at least 6 months long and leads to a diploma, degree, or certificate, and you have a social insurance number. Okay, and also very important to note that you cannot start working before your program starts. So for example, your program starts at September 7, you can only start working after September 7 or September 7 onwards. You cannot start before your classes start. Okay, what else? Okay, it looks like we're on the last question already. So the last question comes from Nadir from Pakistan. And his question is, can I stay in Canada after graduation? Okay, Nadir, yes, you can stay in Canada after you graduate and work for your PR, or work your way to your PR. Okay, so international student graduates can either get a post-graduation work permit or an LMIA, employer restricted work permit. Okay, so what are the PR pathways for international student graduates? So I'm not going to discuss the PR pathways in detail because that would take a long time. Maybe we need to, or I need to do another video on it, but I'm just going to enumerate the PR pathways for international student graduates right now. And these are the first, Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Worker Class, your Provincial Nominee Program, your Rural and Northern Immigration Program or RNIP, your Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program or AIPP. So guys, that wraps up our Q&A on international students. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to do more Q&A in the future. So if you have questions, you can just simply write your questions in the comment box below, or you can send me an email at mch.immigration@gmail.com. Okay, so again, the email is mch.immigration@gmail.com for questions. I guess that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. You know the drill. Until next time, this is Odette Montelibano, your licensed immigration consultant here in Canada, signing off. Take care, everybody.